There was a time when the term AAA title meant an overall quality product. It was something you could rely on time after time to push out actual good fucking games. For example, maybe some of these EA games you guys remember growing up playing, enjoying, or even having fun with your friends. Games like SSX Tricky, the NBA Street Series, Feeding Frenzy, the old school Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, the Fight Night series, Medal of Honor, Skate, The Sims, the NCAA football and basketball games, hell, even Need for Speed at one point in time. Now, when we hear the publisher EA, your balls shrivel back inside your stomach, we run the opposite direction while simultaneously wondering what monetary scheme will they devise this time to rob us of every goddamn dollar we have. More importantly, how they do it is what should amaze you. Most of these titles that are considered AAA games come out in atrocious states. Horrendous. I mean like absolute fucking garbage. Bugs everywhere left and right, glitches, quests not working, graphics that are promised not being delivered, enemy AI and NPCs acting and behaving in brain dead states, games that barely function at all, and servers that behave in every dog shit way you can possibly think of. The sad truth of the matter is, when you hear the term AAA, it creates a feeling of uncertainty now, and installs a bit of fear. Ubisoft has long joined the ranks of pushing out rushed and underdeveloped trash. The last Assassin's Creed game I purchased was Assassin's Creed Unity. It was something innovative they were doing with the series as far as being able to customize your assassin with the clothes they wear and the weapons you use, and to top it off, you get to do this cooperatively with friends. But little did I know just what I was in for. This game launched with so many fucking bugs it was insane. It had a 48 gigabyte patch within the first week of it coming out. The bugs included from falling through the map, getting trapped in places and not being able to escape, to phasing through walls and objects, to teleporting, and NPCs not working at all. These are just a few of the bugs I pulled from a video that isn't half an hour long of just straight bugs and glitches. This 30-minute video was actually one of the shorter ones you can find on Assassin's Creed Unity, because if we went through all the bugs within that game, which by the way are still there to this very day, we would be here all fucking night. Ubisoft's got a new one coming our way, which you guys might have heard of, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and it is looking atrociously close to that hot pile of dog shit Assassin's Creed Unity was and still is to this day. Usually I stay away from the series since they started competing with the John Madden franchise on who can push out the most dog shit amount of games in a decade, but I figured why not look into this one since it's going to be one of the first titles on the next gen console, right? The graphics could be a lot better, load times increase, they have a better overall product to show off a complete and immersive world they spent the time building, but of course I was fucking wrong. Young is one of the content creators that got some hands-on early gameplay, and over the course of 3 months he's gotten to play about 9 hours of gameplay, which I believe is more than enough time to get a solid impression of what your experience will be like playing through this game. And throughout his impressions video, he's going over the things that worry him with Assassin's Creed Valhalla being less than a month away from full release on November 10th for next gen console. Right away he jumps into the topic of NPCs and dialogue being so lifeless, dull, unenergetic, and creates zero immersion within the game, almost as if the product was rushed.
Game's presentation feels stilted and stoic when it comes to cinematography, the way characters interact with each other, the dialogue. Graphics generally look outdated, character models and facial animations feel unimpressive more often than not. Soundscapes lack richness and tend to be just lifeless.
Our silence stains with this.
But then he continues on to talk a bit about character models and their overall presentation.
Standing there awkwardly, not making eye contact, biceps clipping through his body, still speaking in that weird, rhymey way. And then alongside the dead soundscape, it all contributed to A scene that feels like it came out of an incomplete indie title rather than a AAA project.
Watching you rub bodies was an absolute treat. You move just like a noodle. Favorite thing to eat.
Now keep in mind that this build that he got to play was focused solely on the campaign and story. And when you think of a memorable single player campaign, you think of a complete immersive story, characters that you can get emotionally attached to with unique and memorable personalities. And here we are seeing absolutely none of that. In fact, if you watch his full impressions video, I would say this campaign is creating the opposite effect. A story you dread, one that bores you, characters you wish would shut up because they are so cheesy and uninteresting. This is what's been taking up the majority of their time, the open world they create and the campaign. No one plays Assassin's Creed for multiplayer, so it begs the question, what the fuck have they been doing? Oh, but don't worry, it gets better. He then dives into the bugs with NPCs
that was chasing after her. She just stood there instead of running away, and then she had a guard right next to her, and for some reason, even as I approached in broad daylight on horseback, that guard just didn't see me, and I just stealth killed him. And I don't know, that all just kind of took me out, where it really felt like things just weren't working as intended.
Bugs with brain dead enemy AI.
AI was just generally so dumb. In fact, there were a few times where enemies walked right past me and straight up didn't notice my presence, and then other times I would just get detected immediately. Even from enemies who were a great distance away, there's just no consistency in how the enemy AI behaves. And
assassinations not working the way they should.
Oftentimes I would be up on a rooftop or something, and I felt like I should have been able to jump off and land on an enemy and kill them, but the game just wouldn't give me that prompt, and so I just don't know when the game will allow me to assassinate someone and when it won't. And then there are times when the game just flat out, even though I'm right behind the enemy, would not give me the prompt to assassinate them, and I'd just do a normal attack and get detected that way.
And abilities not working the way they should, or at all in some cases.
And then the piercing shot ability, that would work inconsistently as well, where I would either target the wrong person even though my crosshair was lined up with the person I actually wanted to target, or it would just not hit an enemy at all. Like I would have the crosshair lined up and it would go through them and it wouldn't do any damage to them.
He goes into so much more depth within his own impressions video, but this pretty much killed any excitement that was there willing to give this title a chance because it was on next gen console. It just reminded me of this AAA rush dog shit garbage we get nowadays. And for those of you who are like, but one, it's still got time before release, wake up, bro. Wake the fuck up, please. A lot of the things we discussed and went over, like the story, the lifeless dialogue, dull NPCs that aren't memorable at all, tons of bugs, things not working the way they should, that shit cannot and will not be fixed in less than a month. And on top of this, most AAA titles after launch will fix their attention towards microtransactions, DLCs, and season passes. You know, the things that make them money. They don't care about fixing the bugs within the $60 game you purchased. Why? Because they already got your money. They need to make more now. Anyways, guys, these are my thoughts on Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's just looking like another buggy, mucky trash heap that is of a AAA game rushed out the door so they can meet the next gen deadline and just sell as many copies as possible while having almost little to no competition out there, because it's still early on. There's not going to be a lot of games on next gen, but let me know your guys' thoughts down below. And if you guys made it this far in the video, make sure you smack that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, join the chosen ones, and remember, you have been selected.